Right. Right. Okay. So let me ask you this: as far as with Mr. Curry, around this, I'm gonna assume this is in the '60s.
No, he was a school teacher in the 60s.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, if I'm not, I don't really know because I didn't keep up with his story. I
Right.
don't know when it changed and went to being that, so I can't speak on that. All I know, he was my history teacher, and he made sure that I went and learned history. And I learned history. I understand every culture except the Negro, the black culture in America. They want to keep on following the English white boy.
Right. Right. Okay. Now you told me just a while ago, and that kind of stood out to me. So I kind of want to let them hear this as well. You kind of told me that the black man, especially a black man like me, who's still trying to figure it out, we up for a challenge because we can't learn from black men. We've gotta learn other people. We gotta learn other cultures.
To me, y'all gotta create now.
Right.
Like
okay.
your ancestors created.
Right.
The old niggas worked hard and made jobs. We had our own economic business. We had our own stores and things like that.
Right.
Blacks had their own business because it was segregated.
Right.
So therefore, when it was segregated, blacks had businesses too. We had to go to some of the white folks' stores, and they didn't like us in their stores or like to sell to us. But in some states, blacks had their own businesses. When
right.
we integrated, then blacks lost their businesses.
Right.
Now we are racial peoples with no business.
Right.
No businesses.
Right. Right. So let me ask you this: as far as the word nigga, right? Because there's a lot of controversy around that word, especially today. And I noticed that you know, on all your stuff that says Texas nigga, it don't say, like, today we pronounce it with an A. Nigga.
God.
Right, exactly. God. But
that's not original.
Right.
Original is the people that got off that boat in 1400 or 1500, and that white boy started calling them niggas, N-I-G-G-E-R. That's their name. The white boy named them that.
Right.
But later on in history, they say, don't call me no nigga.
Right.
Don't call me no nigga. So they changed their names to Negroes, blacks, or something like that.
Right. So are you ultimately saying that we should, like, embrace that word?
You embrace what you want to embrace. Right. I embrace that word because those was my ancestors that didn't have a chance to live like I live. Those didn't have a chance to wake up every day and enjoy the fruit that I did.
Right.
They had to be beat, they had to be sold, they had to be humiliated, they had to stay on a plantation all their life. I got a chance to enjoy myself. Right. I can act like a Negro.
Right.
I can act like an Afro-American.
Right.
I probably can act like the guy in the hip hop if I wanted to, but I enjoyed the old southern trees.
Right.
The old southern trees where they hung us and all that old kind of shit. Man, why?
Right.
Why did you hate the nigga so bad?
Right.
What did the nigga do to you to hate the nigga, and right today you don't do nothing for it?
Right.
You don't do nothing for the Negro.
Right.
But I'm your neighbor. You supposed to be a Christian country.
Right.
God said, love your neighbor. Do you love us? Do you love the black race white boy? No.
Right.
And you're not supposed to. You're supposed to love yourself.
Right. Right. That's wild. That's wild to me because the first time I heard it broken down like that was, of course, Charleston White. And he actually, you know what? He personally told me this on the phone one time. And he was like, this is when he told me to go talk to my grandmama and them. And he said, would you be offended if somebody called you the N-word with the hard ER? And I said, yeah, I guess so.
Why?
And he's like, why?
Why? Those was proud people.
Right.
When they hung a nigga, they put N-I-G-R on him. Right. Hung him and put the sign on him. What did they hang him for?
Right. Right.
Why would you be ashamed to call your ancestors? That's really why we're confused now. Because we don't look back on our ancestors, the people that had to work hard over here and the people that had to suffer over here.
Right. Right.
For us to be able to free now, that's really why my partner said he go vote. Because them people got their ass beat to vote. Down in Alabama, Mississippi, and Texas, and everywhere, they got their ass whooped to vote. Right. Why do you want to be a part of this party?
Right.
Start your own party.
Right. Right.
Y'all so ignorant you can't build no black hospitals. Y'all so ignorant you can't have no black police force. Why? You are a nation?
Right. Right. Now, another thing you said that hit a light bulb off in my head is the term gangster, right? The term gangster. I always thought like that was a term that we originated and that we kind of coined, black people. But from you was kind of telling me, and it reminds me of the word because ultimately that's another label that
for a race of people.
Right, right.
The Italians wasn't gangsters. The Italians was a culture of peoples. They come over here with their own culture from their own country. And they had laws and bylaws. The Godfather, the Don, the soldiers. That's not gangsters. They open up places of business in America and then abide by the English white boys law.
Right, right.
That's so he gave them gangsters, just like the terrorists. He called them terrorists. Who is he?
Right.
They call him the devil.
Right, right, right. That's crazy. So, let me ask you this: as far as integration, because that's a point in time that I'm really interested in. As far as, you know, I've heard you and I've heard other people say, like, even my pops told me, like, before, he was like, yeah, son, integration is really what messed us up. And he was born a little bit before that, I believe, but he was a little boy when it happened, and he still feels like, you know, the black community was just more vibrant. We were more together because we had to be. Because
we had a code and we had respect.
Right.
We had a code and we had respect that we had created on ourselves. My grandbaby, that was born in the 80s or somewhere in the 90s, she said, Pawpaw, integration messed us up. Because when we integrated, we left us.
Right.
And we went and joined them.
Right.
Now it's no more us.
Right.
We divided. You got a Negro, you got an Afro-American, you got a just black, and you got nigga in hip-hop now. And they don't listen to that Negro.
Right.
Ain't no more niggas. I tell my people, man, I don't like the way y'all slang that word nigga, calling y'allself because y'all ain't no nigga.
Right.
Y'all don't even know what. I think it was a very proper person, a very respectable person, because everybody hated him. He couldn't do nothing wrong.
Right.
He couldn't be ignorant and illiterate.
Right.
Because white boy already said they ignorant and they illiterate. We sure ought to keep following you.
Right. That's cold. That's cold. Like, you know, like a lot of people in the comments said on our last video, man, a lot of us, you know, either when we did have our grandfather.
It ain't your fault.
Yeah.
It ain't your fault. It's what you was taught. Right. And you ain't strong enough to go learn yourself. What I said.
Right.
Don't believe me.
Right.
Go see yourself.
Right.
Experience yourself.
Right.
Don't believe nothing I said. My life was my life.
Right.
And the way I believe is my belief. And ain't nobody gonna never believe like me or think like me. And I don't think like nobody.
Right.
I got a kick out of being around all my brothers and knowing that I was different than them.
Right.
And knowing they ain't gonna give you nothing but they Christians and they gonna talk about you.
Right, right.